Mark Levin.
Hello, everybody. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. It's Friday. Do you know what that means? Yes, I know. Tomorrow's Saturday. But you really know what it means? It means on Saturday and Sunday every week. That is 2 days out of 7 every week, the federal government is shut down. Except for essential services, you know, like the military and security and that sort of thing. But the vast majority of the welfare state and the government is shut down. It's not that painful, is it? As a matter of fact, we look forward to the weekend, don't we? I say this all the time. Because you should have no fear when we cut back on the government. You should have no fear if the government were to shut down for a period of time. It's Friday, so I want to spend a little time not jumping around on different news articles. We'll get to them later, but having a thoughtful, substantive, serious discussion with you. We are the American people. We founded a nation. We created the most prosperous nation on the face of the earth. We did it without the New Deal. We did it without the Great Society. We did it without Obamacare and the EPA. We did it without any of them. The most successful, the most powerful, the wealthiest nation on the face of the earth, long before Franklin Roosevelt became president, and obviously long before Barack Obama became president. We've allowed the daily, incessant media reporting of what government does and how important government is to change who we are. We've allowed the politicians to string us along decade after decade, taking our money and then giving it back to us in smaller pieces, as if we can't survive without it. Many people can't survive because of it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we don't need this big government. We don't need these hack politicians. We don't need 2 million bureaucrats. We don't need all these regulations. We don't need all this spending. We don't need all these taxes. We're self-sufficient individual human beings. We're not the middle class. We're not the upper class. We're not any class. We're Americans. We're not jealous of our neighbors who may make more money. Good for them. If anything, we want to know how they did it. Maybe we can do it too. We're not a jealous people. We're an industrious people. Look at what these politicians are trying to turn us into. Animals. Fighting over crumbs. Constantly growling and gnawing at each other. That's not who we are. We're the resistance. We resist this. The fate that Obama and his party seek to impose on us and every future generation is neither acceptable nor tolerable. We reject the perversion of our Constitution, our law, our economics, and our language in the pursuit of absolute centralized power by Obama and his party in Washington, D.C. We reject it in all of its form. We are tens of millions strong. We did not vote for our individual and societal suicide, and no politician, no president has the authority under our Constitution to destroy this nation from within. I don't care how many people voted for him. This president and his party have ceased to be virtuous. They are a direct threat to our liberties and our rights. They are a direct threat to our well-being and our property. We refuse to accept The propaganda, the Marxist propaganda of the rich and the poor and the middle class. We believe in free market capitalism. We believe if you work hard and you make $1 billion, good for you. Who cares? It's time, folks, to get our priorities in order. We, the people, come first. We have unalienable rights, not government. You keep your damn hands off our mortgage interest deductions. You keep your damn hands off our pension plans, off of the poor, the middle class, the rich, because there's no such thing. That is, keep your hands off my fellow Americans. We're human beings. We're not jealous of successful people. We don't want to steal the fruits of somebody else's labor. That's not who we are. And we don't need the government to interfere in our lives and tell us what we wipe our asses with. There, I said it. Get out of our bathrooms, get out of our kitchens, get out of our bedrooms, get out of our cars, get out of our lives. We are an independent people. We're perfectly able to live as we wish to live, to take care of our families. We don't want the iron fist of government in our face. We seek independence from the welfare state. We seek independence from centralized government. We seek independence from stupid hack politicians, starting with the president on down, and I mean exactly what I'm saying. Running around the country, goes to a toy store in suburban Philadelphia. Wow, how persuasive, how effective, almost like George Washington, huh? Mr. President, let me speak to you and be very blunt. I have no respect for you whatsoever. None. None. What you're doing to this country, what you're doing to my fellow citizens, what you're doing to future generations, that's a sin. It's unconscionable. Oh, I won an election. Oh, wow, he won an election. So I guess we get to turn the Constitution over to the President of the United States? Is that what it says? I guess we all have to turn our private property over to the President of the United States? Is that what it says? No, it says he won an election. And he's to conduct himself within the confines of the Constitution. Period. Now, I know he's an imperial president. He's dictator-like. I know it. So what do we do about it? Do we negotiate with it? No, we don't. Do we accept it? No, we don't. We use every legitimate and peaceful means possible. I say legitimate and peaceful means possible. Legal, political, cultural. To obstruct him, to divert him, to slow him down, and ultimately defeat the spread of centralized power by this president and his party. That's why we don't negotiate. We don't negotiate the terms of our own suicide. Now, we are a people, most of us who are listening to this program, who believe in liberty. We're up against a force that believes in tyranny. There's no way around it, folks. That's the way it is. Societies do fail. Societies are not guaranteed perpetual existence. We have a president of the United States who lacks virtue. And when a government lacks virtue, it ceases to be virtuous. This debate about, I want to cut tax, I want to raise taxes on the upper class, I want to this, that. Don't get sucked in to the propaganda of a demagogue. Marx made that argument. Stalin made that argument. Lenin made the argument before him. Every social democrat in Europe and all the rest of the world have made this argument. Hugo Chavez makes the argument. Fidel Castro makes the argument. The Labor Party in this country and that party, they make the argument. That argument is alien to we the people. We're Americans. We're not Europeans. About our ancestry. I'm not talking about our ancestry. We're Americans. There are tens of millions of us. About 120 million people voted. There's 310 million people in this country. Yes, we accept the outcome of an election. That is, we know who won. But we embrace our Constitution because no election trumps the Constitution. For the rest of my time behind this microphone, whenever it is, and throughout the course of this presidency, I'm going to do everything I can, legitimately and peacefully, to resist what's going on in this country. And so should you. Don't surrender to this. Don't accept it. You're not in the middle class. You're in America. You don't hate the rich. You appreciate success. Turn your contempt on the politicians who are destroying this nation, who are bankrupting this nation, who are interfering with your lives. Turn your disgust on them because they deserve every ounce of it. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Bipartisanship. Bipartisanship to what end? To destroying the private sector? To drive up the cost of basic goods and necessities? To expand the status electoral base, the bureaucracy, and the power of government? Bipartisanship? Bipartisanship to shred the remaining articles and sections of the Constitution? To surrender the liberty and happiness of our children to an all-powerful group of masterminds? To steal the wealth of successful people so it can be redistributed to cronies and people who don't earn it? That's bipartisanship? Well, count me the hell out. Just because we had an election doesn't mean I have to accept tyranny, and it doesn't mean you have to accept it either. Does the left ever accept the consequences of an election when a conservative wins? Hell no. No way. I'm not going. I'm not being dragged into this hell, ladies and gentlemen. This election was a body punch. There's no question about it. But we're stronger than this, aren't we? Yes, we're outnumbered right now. There's absolutely no question about it. And there's things we're going to have to do about that. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment after the break. Well, what? Now what do we do? Put our hands up and say, take us, take our money, take our children's future, do whatever you want to us? Not me, even if I'm the last man standing. Not me, and I don't think I am the last man standing. I am sick of these spinners on TV. I am sick of these spinners on the radio. I am sick of these attacks on the Tea Party and conservatives by Republicans and rhinos and all the rest of them. We have to figure out how to approach this group, that group. We figured it out. It's called the Constitution. It's called liberty. It's called capitalism. Try it. I'll be right back. All right, let's go to some calls here, shall we? Yes, we shall. New Jersey, the great WABC. Go.
Hi, there's an interesting twist to universal background checks. When you go to an FFL to buy a gun, you have to show a photo ID as part of the NICS process.
So are you trying to suggest that that's racist?
Well, I'm trying to suggest that if it's racist to require a photo ID to vote, wouldn't it be racist to require a photo ID to buy a gun?
Yes, it's almost like a poll tax, I would say, wouldn't you?
I'd call it a gun tax.
Yes. Very well put, my friend. Excellent point. And I think when you have to show your photo ID at 7-Eleven, if you're getting a six-pack, I think that's like a poll tax, too.
So maybe Mr. Holder will have to come out against this because he can see a poll tax when there is one.
Maybe he'll nullify it. I don't know, though. We'll see. Thank you. All this lunacy all over the place. Anthony, Staten Island, WABC, the great New York. Yes, how may I help you?
Hello, Mr. Levin.
Yes, sir.
I do agree with the right to bear arms, okay?
Sure you do.
But back in 1776, those arms were muskets. They weren't semi-automatic rifles.
Oh, really? And guess what? The First Amendment applied to newspapers, not to a network television.
be that as it may,
So you don't make any sense, do you?
Well, I think all.
I just pointed out what an idiot you are. I just said, okay, we have First Amendment. So you're saying the framer. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is the typical lib. First of all, I believe in the Second Amendment. No, he doesn't. Just keep him lowered for now so he doesn't interrupt me in my brilliance here. That's number one. Number two. Oh, the Second Amendment, they were talking about muskets. No, they weren't. Is that what it says? Muskets? They meant fire. Pal, I'm educating you. I know it's tough. You're a drone. I'm going to do everything I can to get through that skull. I'm going to do what I can. And you can take it or leave it and go on your way. They were talking about firearms. That's what they were talking about, firearms. They didn't just have muskets. They also had the equivalent of pistols, but that doesn't matter. When they were talking about the First Amendment freedom of the press, they couldn't conceive of satellite television and cable TV and iPods and iPhones and network television and all the rest of it. So what are you suggesting now? Only people who put out pamphlets are protected under the First Amendment?
All firearms should be registered, period. Just like
no, clowns like you should be registered because you scare me. What do you think of that? I think we should quiet down. I think we should register all liberals. They want databases. They want registration. By God, let's give it to them. Liberals, turn yourselves in. Tell us your name, your income, your serial number, the whole thing. What size shoe you wear. Give us your photos. We'll put it in the national database of liberals. I'll be right back.